Lesson 1, a tight deadline challenge.
Hey Anna, I wanted to run something by you. We've got a new project at work with a really tight deadline.
A tight deadline, huh? How tight are we talking here? What's the timeline you're working with?
Well, that's the thing, the higher-ups want this project completed in just 3 weeks. From now, that doesn't give us much time at all.
3 weeks? Yikes, that's a tall order. Do you honestly think that's a feasible timeline to get everything done?
I'm not sure, to be honest. It's going to require some serious hustle and laser-like focus from the entire team.
Wow, that's a lot of pressure. What's the reaction been from the rest of the team? Do they think it can be pulled off?
Mixed reactions, to be honest. Some of us are confident we can make it work, but others are concerned it's just not realistic.
I can understand both perspectives. Ambitious deadlines can motivate people, but they also risk burning people out.
Exactly. And the stakes are high. If we don't deliver on time, it could jeopardize the entire project.
Yikes, no pressure then. So what's the plan of attack? How are you and the team approaching this challenge?
Well, we're going to need to prioritize ruthlessly, work around the clock, and find ways to streamline our processes.
Sounds intense. You're really going to have to be strategic and hyper-efficient to pull this off in such a short time.
Definitely. We're going to have to make some tough decisions and really lean on each other as a team.
I bet. With a timeline that tight, there's no room for error or unproductive time. You'll all have to be firing on all cylinders.
Absolutely. It's going to require an incredible amount of focus and discipline from everyone involved.
Well, I admire your team's willingness to take on such a daunting challenge. I hope you're able to make it work.
Thanks, Anna. To be honest, I'm a little nervous about the whole thing. But I'm determined to give it our absolute best shot.
I'm sure you'll do great. With that kind of commitment and teamwork, I have a good feeling you'll find a way to make it happen.
I appreciate the vote of confidence. We're definitely going to need all the positivity and encouragement we can get.
Well, you've got mine. Wishing you and the team the best of luck navigating this tight deadline. I know you've got this.
Thanks, Anna. I'll be sure to let you know how it all turns out. This is going to be one heck of a wild ride.
I bet. Can't wait to hear all about it. Here's to your team pulling off the impossible. You've got this.
Definitely. Wish us luck, we're gonna need it. But I'm ready to give it everything we've got.
Lesson 2, Exercise Exploration.
Hey Anna, I've been meaning to chat with you about staying active. Do you have any suggestions?
Staying active, huh? That's a great topic. I find that the key is finding an activity you genuinely enjoy.
That makes sense. If it's something you actually like doing, you're much more likely to stick with it.
Exactly. For me, I've found that activities like hiking, swimming, and yoga keep me engaged and motivated.
Ooh, hiking and swimming sound like a lot of fun. What is it about those that you enjoy so much?
Well, I love how being outdoors on a hike connects me with nature. And swimming is just such a refreshing, low-impact workout.
Ah, I can see the appeal. And yoga, I imagine, provides a nice balance of physical and mental wellness.
Definitely. The mindfulness and flexibility aspects of yoga make it so rewarding, both physically and mentally.
That's awesome. I've been meaning to try yoga, actually. Do you have any recommendations for a beginner like me?
Absolutely. I'd suggest starting with a gentle, beginner-friendly class to get a feel for the practice. The instructors are usually great at modifying poses.
That sounds like a smart way to ease into it. I want to make sure I'm doing the poses properly from the start.
Totally. And don't be afraid to take breaks or modifications as needed. Yoga is all about listening to your body.
Good to know. I definitely want to avoid any injuries as I get started. Any other tips for staying active that you'd recommend?
Well, I find that mixing up your routine keeps things fun and interesting. Maybe try rock climbing or even just going for daily walks.
Ooh, rock climbing sounds exhilarating. And you can't go wrong with good old fashioned walking. Simple but effective.
Exactly. The key is finding activities that energize you and that you actually look forward to. That way, it never feels like a chore.
I love that perspective. Making it an enjoyable part of your lifestyle rather than a dreaded task. Very wise advice.
Definitely. And don't be afraid to experiment until you find the right fit. The options are endless when it comes to staying active.
Excellent point. I'm excited to try out some new things and see what resonates with me. Thanks for the great suggestions, Anna.
Of course. I'm happy I could provide some helpful insights. Just remember to have fun with it and listen to what your body needs.
Will do. I appreciate you taking the time to chat about this. It's really motivated me to get moving and find an activity I love.
That's wonderful to hear, John. I'm sure you're going to discover something that keeps you feeling energized and engaged. Wishing you the best of luck.
Thanks, Anna. I'm looking forward to the journey of finding my new favorite way to stay active. It's going to be an adventure.
Lesson 3: Breezing through airport security.
Morning, Anna. I wanted to ask you about something. Have you had any recent experiences with airport security?
Airport security. Yes, I actually just traveled through the airport last week. What would you like to know?
Well, I've got a trip coming up, and I want to make sure I'm fully prepared to get through security smoothly. Any tips you can share?
Absolutely. One of the most important things is to make sure you don't have any liquids exceeding 100 milliliters in your carry-on bag.
Ah, yes, I've heard about that 100 milliliters rule. It can be tricky to keep track of, especially with toiletries and such.
Definitely. I'd recommend decanting any larger bottles into smaller, travel-sized containers to stay within the limit.
Good call. And what about things like electronics and jewelry? Is there anything specific I should be aware of there?
Yes, you'll want to make sure to take out any laptops, tablets, or larger electronics and place them in a bin for X-ray screening.
Okay, good to know. And jewelry, should I be removing that as well, or can I leave it on?
For jewelry, it's generally best to minimize what you're wearing. Things like watches, rings, and necklaces may need to be removed for screening.
Noted. I'll make sure to pack light on the jewelry front. Anything else I should keep in mind as I'm going through?
Let me think. Oh, I'd also recommend wearing slip-on shoes if possible. That makes the process of taking them on and off much quicker.
Slip-on shoes, got it. That's a smart tip to streamline the whole security experience.
Exactly. And be prepared to remove your coat or jacket as well, since those need to go through the X-ray separately.
Excellent, I'll make sure to dress accordingly. Anything else you can think of that might help me navigate the security checkpoint smoothly?
Well, one last piece of advice: try to pack light and minimize the number of items you're carrying. The fewer things you have to remove and place in bins, the faster it'll go.
That makes a lot of sense. Pack light and keep things simple. I'll definitely keep that in mind as I'm getting ready for my trip.
Fantastic. Just remember to be patient and follow the instructions of the security staff. As long as you're prepared, you should be able to breeze right through.
Wonderful, thanks so much for all the helpful tips, Anna. I feel much more confident about making it through security now.
I'm glad I could provide some useful insight. Safe travels, John, and let me know if you have any other questions come up.
Will do, Anna. I appreciate you taking the time to walk me through all of this. It's been a really valuable conversation.
Of course, happy to help. Navigating airport security can be tricky, but with the right preparation, it doesn't have to be a hassle. Wishing you a smooth journey.
Excellent, thanks again. I'll be sure to put all of these tips into practice. This is going to make my trip so much easier.
Lesson 4: Navigating flight delays.
Hey Anna, I wanted to ask you about something that happened on my last trip. During my connecting flight, there was a pretty long delay.
A flight delay, huh? That can be so frustrating. Did they give you any information about what was causing the holdup?
Well, that's the thing, the gate agents weren't very forthcoming with details. All they kept saying was that there was an operational issue.
Operational issue, that's a vague way of putting it. Did you try pressing them for more specifics?
I did, but they weren't very helpful. They just kept repeating the same scripted response about the operational issue.
How irritating. I hate when airlines are so tight-lipped about the reasons for flight disruptions. It leaves passengers feeling in the dark.
Exactly. I was getting increasingly anxious, not knowing how long the delay would be or what was causing it.
I can imagine. Flight delays are stressful enough as it is, but the lack of clear communication just adds to the frustration.
Tell me about it. And to make matters worse, the gate agents weren't even offering any compensation or accommodations.
No compensation? That's just poor customer service. Passengers deserve to be taken care of when flights are disrupted like that.
I know, right? I was really hoping they'd at least offer meal vouchers or something to help make up for the inconvenience.
Absolutely. The least they could do is provide some basic amenities to help passengers get through the delay more comfortably.
Couldn't agree more. In the end, I had to shell out my own money for food and snacks just to get by during the long wait.
That's a real bummer. Airlines should be bending over backwards to accommodate passengers when their flights are disrupted.
You said it. I was really disappointed by the lack of empathy and support from the airline staff during the whole ordeal.
I'm sorry to hear you had such a frustrating experience, John. Dealing with delays and poor communication from airlines can be so stressful.
It really was. But I appreciate you listening and commiserating. It helps to know I'm not alone in my frustration with these kinds of situations.
Of course. Flight disruptions are just the worst, and airlines often don't do enough to make it right for their passengers. I'm glad I could provide a sympathetic ear.
Definitely. And thanks for the feedback. It's good to know that my expectations for better customer service during delays are reasonable.
Absolutely. Passengers deserve clear communication, compensation, and accommodations when flights are unexpectedly delayed or cancelled. Hopefully, your next travel experience is much smoother.
Here's hoping. I'll be sure to keep your advice in mind next time I'm dealing with an airline delay. Appreciate you taking the time to discuss this with me.
Of course, John. I'm always happy to lend an ear and provide a fresh perspective on these kinds of travel frustrations. Wishing you smooth sailing on your next trip.
Thanks, Anna. I'll be sure to let you know if I have any more airline horror stories to share. For now, I'm just glad this one has a sympathetic ear.
Lesson 5: The Rise of a Football Legend.
Hey Anna, I wanted to get your take on this football player I'd been hearing a lot about lately, O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson? Ah, yes, I've definitely been following his story. He's really made quite a name for himself, hasn't he?
Absolutely. From what I understand, he's become the central figure in his team's offense. As a result, he's been shattering all kinds of rushing records.
That's incredible. I knew he was a talented player, but to be rewriting the record books like that is really impressive.
Tell me about it. I mean, the stats he's been putting up are just mind-boggling. It's like he's playing a completely different game than everyone else.
Wow, that's really saying something. Football is such a physically demanding sport, but he seems to be dominating at an elite level.
Definitely. His combination of speed, power, and agility is just unparalleled. He's making it look effortless out there on the field.
That's incredible. It must be thrilling for his team and fans to watch him perform at such a high level, game after game.
Absolutely. The energy and excitement he brings to the game is really captivating. He's become a true star, both on and off the field.
I can imagine. With that kind of talent and success, he's probably garnering a lot of media attention and recognition.
You got that right. His name is seemingly everywhere these days: magazine covers, TV interviews, you name it. He's become a household name.
That's amazing. It sounds like he's really transcending the sport and becoming a cultural icon of sorts. A true sports legend in the making.
Definitely. And the best part is, he's still so young. I can only imagine what kind of records he's going to shatter and heights he'll reach in the years to come.
That's a great point. He's got such a long career ahead of him. The sky really seems to be the limit for this young phenom.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see how his story continues to unfold. He's poised to cement his legacy as one of the all-time greats.
I have no doubt about that. With his incredible talent and drive, O.J. Simpson is well on his way to becoming a true football immortal.
Couldn't agree more. It's been really inspiring to witness his meteoric rise. I can't wait to see what he does next.
Same here. This has been a fascinating conversation about a truly exceptional athlete. O.J. Simpson is clearly destined for greatness.
Definitely. I'm glad we got to discuss his story in depth. It's been an eye-opening look at the making of a sports legend.
Absolutely. These kinds of conversations really highlight the incredible feats and impact of our most talented athletes. It's been a pleasure chatting with you about it.
The pleasure is all mine, Anna. I appreciate you sharing your insights and enthusiasm for O.J. Simpson's remarkable journey. It's been a great discussion.
Lesson 6: Exploring online shopping options.
You know, Anna, I've been meaning to do some more online shopping lately. Do you have any specific recommendations for good online stores to check out?
Online shopping, huh? Absolutely, I'd be happy to share some suggestions. What kind of items are you looking to purchase?
Well, I'm open to exploring all sorts of options: clothes, electronics, home goods, you name it. I just want to make sure I'm finding reliable and trustworthy online retailers.
That's a great approach. For clothing, I've had really positive experiences with stores like ASOS, Nordstrom, and H&M. They tend to have user-friendly websites and easy return policies.
Ah yes, ASOS and Nordstrom, those are definitely names I recognize. And H&M is a classic for affordable fashion. Good call on those.
Definitely. And for electronics, I'd recommend checking out sites like Best Buy, Amazon, and even the manufacturer's own online stores. They usually have a wide selection and competitive prices.
Amazon, of course, that's probably the first place I'll look. But I like the idea of exploring the manufacturer's sites too. Might find some deals there.
Absolutely. And for home goods, stores like Wayfair, Overstock, and Crate and Barrel have really robust online presences with tons of options.
Ooh, Wayfair and Overstock, those are new ones to me. I'll have to take a look. Crate and Barrel is a classic as well.
Yes, those are great places to find quality home decor, furnishings, and household items at a variety of price points.
Excellent, that gives me a really solid starting point. I appreciate you taking the time to share all these recommendations.
Of course. I'm always happy to help fellow online shoppers find great resources. Just remember to read reviews and compare prices to get the best deals.
Good advice. I'll definitely keep that in mind as I'm browsing. And I'll be sure to explore some of those specific stores you mentioned.
Sounds like a plan. Let me know if you come across any other questions as you're doing your online shopping research. I'm happy to provide more suggestions.
Will do, Anna. This has been really helpful in getting me started on the right track for finding reliable and affordable online retailers.
Fantastic, I'm glad I could point you in the right direction. Online shopping can be so convenient, but it's good to have some trusted stores in mind.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to diving in and seeing what kind of deals and finds I can uncover. Thanks again for all your helpful insights.
Of course, John. Happy shopping! I'm sure you'll discover some great new online resources for all your retail needs.
I appreciate it, Anna. This conversation has definitely got me excited to start exploring the world of online shopping. Can't wait to see what I find.
Lesson 7: Savoring Seafood Delights.
Hey Anna, I was hoping to get your recommendations on some good seafood dishes to try. I'm in the mood for something new and delicious.
Seafood, you say? Well, you've come to the right person. I absolutely love trying different seafood dishes. What kind of flavors are you in the mood for?
I'm open to all sorts of options, maybe something light and refreshing, or maybe something a little more decadent and flavorful.
Ooh, I've got just the thing. Have you ever tried a classic seafood boil? It's a fun, messy feast with shrimp, crab, lobster, and all sorts of delicious goodies.
A seafood boil, huh? That sounds right up my alley. I love the idea of getting my hands dirty with all those tasty crustaceans.
It's so much fun. And the flavors are out of this world. They usually smother everything in a spicy, buttery sauce that's just heavenly.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. Any other seafood dishes you'd recommend?
Well, if you're in the mood for something a little lighter, I'd suggest trying some fresh, grilled fish. Maybe a nice piece of salmon or tuna, seasoned simply with lemon and herbs.
That does sound delightful. I love how seafood can be so versatile, from rich and indulgent to light and healthy.
Exactly. And don't forget about classic seafood staples like shrimp scampi, lobster bisque, or even just a nice, crispy fish and chips.
Ooh, shrimp scampi, that's one of my favorites. I could go for a big plate of that right about now.
Same here. The garlicky, buttery sauce is just heavenly. And paired with some crusty bread, it makes for such a satisfying meal.
I'm drooling just thinking about it. I'm definitely going to have to try out some of these seafood dishes you've recommended.
I'm so glad I could provide some inspiration. Seafood is truly one of life's greatest culinary pleasures. Let me know what you end up trying, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to expanding my seafood horizons. This conversation has my mouth watering and my taste buds tingling.
Haha, mission accomplished then. Seafood is just such a diverse and delicious culinary world to explore. I'm sure you're going to have a fantastic time trying new things.
I can't wait. Thanks so much for all the amazing suggestions, Anna. I feel like I've got a solid game plan for my next seafood adventure.
Wonderful. I'm happy I could help get you excited about trying some new and delicious seafood dishes. Enjoy the journey of discovering your new favorites.
I definitely will. This has been a really appetizing conversation, both literally and figuratively. I appreciate you sharing your seafood expertise.
It's my pleasure, John. Talking about food is one of my favorite things, especially when it comes to all the incredible flavors and textures of fresh seafood. Bon appetit!
Can't wait. Alright, time for me to go hunt down the nearest seafood spot. Thanks again, Anna. This was a great chat.
Lesson 8, a dramatic jury selection.
Hey Anna, I heard you've been following that high profile trial in the news. What can you tell me about the jury selection process?
Oh, the jury selection process for that trial has been quite fascinating. From what I've gathered, the lawyers on both sides have been carefully vetting potential jurors.
I see. So they're really scrutinizing each individual to determine if they're a good fit for the case, huh?
Exactly. The lawyers want to ensure they have a panel of jurors who can be impartial and objective in their decision making.
That makes sense. I'd imagine they're looking for people who don't have any preconceived biases or connections to the case.
Absolutely. During the lunchtime break, the lawyers actually dismissed the entire panel because they weren't satisfied with the jurors selected.
Wow, that's quite dramatic. They must have had some serious concerns about the impartiality of those potential jurors.
Definitely. It just goes to show how meticulous the jury selection process can be, especially for high-profile, high-stakes trials like this one.
Fascinating. So what happens next? Do they have to start the whole process over again with a new pool of potential jurors?
Yes, that's exactly what they'll do. The judge will call in a fresh batch of prospective jurors, and the lawyers will go through the vetting process all over again.
That must be incredibly time-consuming and frustrating for everyone involved. But I suppose it's necessary to ensure a fair and impartial trial.
Definitely. The judicial system places a lot of importance on seating the right jury, even if it means prolonging the process. They have to get it right.
I can imagine. It's fascinating to get a behind-the-scenes look at how these complex jury selection procedures work.
Absolutely. It's a delicate dance, with both sides trying to stack the deck in their favor, while still upholding the principles of a fair trial.
Interesting. I wonder how long it will take them to finally land on the final jury for this case.
That's a great question. It really depends on how challenging the selection process is, and how much the lawyers on each side are pushing back on potential jurors.
I see. Well, I'm certainly intrigued to follow along and see how this all plays out. It's such a high-stakes, high-profile trial.
Definitely. The jury selection is just the first step, but it's a critical one that can really set the tone for the rest of the proceedings. I'll be sure to keep you updated.
I appreciate that, Anna. This has been a really insightful conversation about an aspect of the judicial system that I don't often get to see. Fascinating stuff.
I'm glad I could provide some helpful insights, John. The jury selection process is a fascinating and complex part of the legal system. It's always interesting to see how it unfolds, especially in high-profile cases.
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to following along as this trial continues. Thanks for taking the time to walk me through this process.
Of course, happy to do it. Discussing the nuances of the legal system is one of my favorite topics. I'm sure we'll have more opportunities to dive into these kinds of fascinating conversations.
I look forward to it. This has been a great learning experience for me. Can't wait to see what other legal drama unfolds in the coming days.
Lesson 9: The Inspiring Journey of Eleanor Roosevelt.
Hey Anna, I was reading up on the incredible life and accomplishments of Eleanor Roosevelt. Have you been following her story?
Eleanor Roosevelt? Absolutely, she's such an inspiring figure. From what I know, she really paved the way for women's empowerment and social justice.
Definitely. After her husband, President Franklin D. Roosevelt, passed away, she went on to have an amazing career of her own.
That's right. After leaving the White House, she went on to attend school at Radcliffe College. She then used her platform to write articles, give lectures, and work tirelessly for important causes.
Wow, she really didn't slow down at all. Even after her time as First Lady, she continued to be a trailblazer and champion for change.
Absolutely. She advocated for civil rights, women's rights, and human rights on a global scale. Her dedication to making the world a better place was truly unwavering.
It's amazing how much she was able to accomplish. From her work in the White House to her post-presidential advocacy, she left an incredible legacy.
Definitely. Eleanor Roosevelt redefined the role of First Lady, using her position to amplify the voices of the marginalized and oppressed.
Exactly. She wasn't content to just be a silent, supportive spouse. She wanted to make a tangible difference in people's lives.